looking ahead, we got Brisbane this weekend. I don't know if there's too much to talk about as far as the format goes. We're definitely gonna do some predictions here, but I think the big deck to take a look at is kind of Guard 4. I think it's like the top two decks right now feels like Guard 4 and Dragapult going into the tournament. It feels like Dragapult's a little bit played out. There might be some more innovation for Guard 4 moving forward for Irida and for Arvin, possibly. I could see it. So that's like the only thing to really think about, to be honest, is like um or there's not too much to think about going to this next one. There's I don't have too much to say. I don't know if you had any thoughts on the meta, the format, where things are going.
Not really. Um, I'll be interested to see what that top group of Australian players goes with for this event.
Maybe
Obviously,
Dragapult.
Natalie got second place at EUIC with Dragapult, but at Vancouver, Brent played Archaladon. So really, who knows what's going to happen there with what they choose to play?
I talked to him at the event. I was like, "Why Archalon?" He said he didn't want to play Dragapult. He thought Archalon was like good enough, or like he wanted to play Archalon specifically. He just didn't want to play Dragapult. I think is what he told me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like a whatever from there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that he's not gonna play Archalon again. Yeah, I'm gonna make a prediction here.
Yeah,
But
probably a pretty safe bet. Yeah, I'll be interested to see as well kind of what happens here. Well, let's make some predictions. And the first one here, because based on past Australian tournaments, most recent Australian tournaments, in Perth, there were four Japanese players in cut. So our prediction number one is going to be how many Japanese players are going to make top cut at this tournament?
four is a lot, and we're expecting probably like between a 10 and 12 person top cut as well. Something in there, or maybe like 9 to 12. It'll be like in that range. So probably some asymmetrical cut. I'm gonna go with, and honestly, what is it? This is we're looking at their second regional of the year, but I feel between last season and this season, with how many Japanese players actually show up to Australia, Australia's been kind of cooking, or Japan's been kind of cooking Australia. Like they've been, did they win it? They won one or two last year, right? Didn't Kato?
Hmm.
No, not Kato. Someone else, another Japanese player won last year, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe I am trolling, but they had definitely had a decent amount of top cuts. Um, did they have another? Oh, maybe they didn't quite win one last year, but they got close. Spoke too soon.
Yeah. Only one dub from Japan last year
Hmm.
uh in Australia. Haru got second to Brent at Melbourne last
Okay, that's
year.
probably what I was thinking of. Yeah, so I'm gonna predict three Japanese players. I think they're gonna be a decent amount of players there. They're gonna come in strong, but they won't win. Three players in cup, but they're not gonna win.
I'm going to go with two for this one. I think there probably will be a good amount of Japanese players there, to be honest, but I think the Australians will hold their ground. Bring the pet kangaroo to scare off the Japanese competition, and that'll be enough. Next up, pick a player to make top cut. This is kind of a fun one. We did it last weekend for Stockholm. Maybe we'll do it. We got this gauntlet of tournaments. Maybe we'll just do it the rest of the year. Um, yeah, pick a player to make top cut. Who you got, Azul?
I am gonna go with Ryuki. I don't know if he's going, but I would predict that out of the Japanese players going, it seems like he is one of the players who travels a little bit more than the rest of them. And I mean, I think he's shown himself to be the best player from Japan this year, who's like ventured out to non-Japanese tournaments. Probably, I mean, one of the best players this year in general, outside of just being maybe the best Japanese player performing so far this year. By far, he's the best performing Japanese player this year. So, as long as he's going to show up to the tournament, he's probably one of the front runners to take it all down. Even so, I'm gonna go through Yuki.
I'm gonna go with my boy Tim Danklin with the best mustache in the game to make top cut for sure at Brisbane this weekend.
How cheesy do you think his deck's gonna be?
He's probably gonna play Cloth, or
He,
Terapagos, Badoo, Ditto,
yeah,
whatever.
he do be bedouin. That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you enjoyed this one so much last time, we decided to run it back. How many Pokemon V are there going to be in top cuts? So, for frame of reference, if a Lugia makes top cut and they play three Lugia V and three Lugia V star, that counts as six Pokemon V.
Probably also have two Luminions, so it will be 8 from a deck like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely under guessed last time. So we definitely need, I think we should have probably been in the 20s. I'm gonna go with 24. I'm gonna put +6 on my guess from last week.
I'm gonna hit it with the 22 personally.
Okay. What's gonna happen is gonna be like 10. It's gonna be a bunch of Dragapults and
We're just
Gardevoir.
gonna ping pong back and forth with the correct predictions
Yeah,
each
honestly, ooh,
tournament.
is that a prediction to make? Is Gardevoir gonna have a super successful tournament
True. Could be a
that
factor.
brings down honestly, I feel like Guardy I'm gonna stick with 22.
So do you think so this is a question we can talk about with the
Go for
format
it.
right now because you were a couple of weeks ago we talked about Gardevoir. You were just like, I just don't think it beats Dragapult. And it's like, why would you play Gardevoir when you can't beat Dragapult, which is going to be a very popular deck and is also going to be played by very good players, right?
Well, I guess I
Um
didn't think you couldn't beat it. I was like, if it's 50-50,
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
feels
sure.
yeah, it feels pretty
You
bad to
definitely
be playing
seemed I
Gardevoir.
feel like you definitely seemed you seemed to think it was unfavored for sure.
No, I think I was saying 50-50. Like 50-50 against the Dusknoir build, maybe favored against the non-Dusknoir.
I don't remember for sure, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
Okay, okay, yeah. Um, I was also a little bit more. I've definitely been more. I still think Miraidon's a really, really good play. It makes me kind of wish I had been able to go to Stockholm, just like seeing what actually did well and seeing the meta. I'm like, I would have won this tournament with Miraidon, no problem. Just dodge the Archaladons, stay away, Julius. But Miraidon definitely has come down and play a little bit. It definitely was like decently successful. Oh, we didn't talk about the meta percentages at all,
oh yeah,
um,
true.
which we could go to real fast.
From Stockholm,
Dragapult,
yeah.
yeah, Dragapult was 20%. And then we had the usual suspects in the follow-up three, 9% Gardevoir, 8% Lugia, 8% Golden Go. Those are all like 10% at Vancouver, and Dragapult was a little bit less. Miraidon did make its way back into the top six there. And then we see like most of the top decks having a decent conversion besides Golden Go. Golden Go was the only one that really struggled out of the top six to um, get into day two with that
Bro,
increased
who
market
put
share.
the things on the graph in this order?
This is the day two conversion of the top six decks.
Yeah.
They also showed
They should put the conversion rate from the highest conversion rate to the best conversion rate to the worst. Also,
they
why do they
did
not do the decimals? There's a big difference between 19 over 73 and 15 over 58.
because they haven't discovered it yet in Europe. They're
What is the 19 over 73 is 0.26. Okay, it's not that big of a difference.
well, no, what is it going to
Well,
be like 0.5 difference? Like it's not that big of a deal.
over 58. Dude, it's like
True.
a
That's not that.
it's not that big. But
I
that's
mean,
like
why not put
why
the decimal in
that's
there?
why the decimals are there. That's why they exist.
I actually don't mind this graph looking like this, where it shows the top six decks in comparison because it's easier to like follow, right? Because if they switch from the highest meta percentages to then this, it could be a little bit confusing when all the decks move around. But you can see it's like, oh, Dragapult was the number one deck, 40% conversion, yada yada yada. They did show another graph, which Robin doesn't have here, but they did show the highest converting deck from day one to day two, which was guess.
Snorlax.
Reggie Drago was the highest converting deck from day one to day two at like it
Interesting.
was like 28% or something like that, I think, if I remember correctly. So that was actually really cool. I hope that they continue to do that in the future, to be honest, to show the converting percentage. Just more stats. I like looking at more stats. They had if you click on the top right image there, the unclassified percentage. Oh no, scroll down. Means absolutely nothing and shouldn't be on there because you can't do anything with that.
Yeah,
But
we removed it from ours in NA.
yeah, well, hit up Europe and be like, listen, add some decimal percentages, remove the unclassified because it doesn't mean anything and you can't do anything with that data. And then you guys, if you're not already planning to do it, add the conversion rate to
Yeah, I hadn't
your
seen this
personal.
yet.
And
Um,
I like the two different ones they showed. I like this one, and then I like the other one where they just showed highest conversion rate. That's like the conversion rates of the top deck. So like two different things to look at. But that's pretty cool. I like those. More data is
I
always
guess
good.
yeah, I guess it makes more sense that they showed it like this and then also had one that was
Yeah.
highest, so then that one was ranked properly, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, so I would say as far as these meta percentages goes, we should have talked about this first. But yeah, nothing crazy in the meta percentages, and I think it'll be pretty similar to what we see in Brisbane. I did actually talk to Brent about this a little bit, and his thoughts on like how tournaments play out in terms of meta percentages in Australia. And he says he feels like, and this kind of speaks to some of the results from Australia, like the 8 Palkias in top cut. He's like because they have so much fewer events people play them a lot more conservatively and just like play the best decks. So like Dragapult being like for this format for Stockholm in Australia, maybe Dragapult's like 25% of the meta or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. People play a lot more conservatively, like when we have the was it Brisbane a couple of years ago?
oh, when everyone just played counter Lugia decks.
Yeah, wait, hang on, let me
Yeah,
find
that's
that.
that's a little bit different because there was like some area to take advantage of.
Yeah, yeah, when
Yeah,
Tim Franklin won with the Frostmoth, Intellion Articuno deck, and then
absolutely criminal deck right
there
there.
was the Flappy Zekrom. Dude, the most Mickey Mouse finals of all time.
And then yeah, Durant was the third place deck, and then you had Control in number 4.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, they play it conservatively over there for sure. The Durant, dude. This is so sick that this deck actually did well at something.
Actually insane.
Dude, there was a time that Grant was kinda hype on this deck for a tournament, I remember.
Yeah, I remember too. I don't remember which one it was. Was it in this format? Was it the Broken Lugia format? I don't
It
know if it
might have
was.
been after. I think it was towards
Oh,
the end
it
of
wasn't
Durant's
Grant. I think it was
life.
Isaiah.
It was Isaiah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
He was trying to
yeah.
get it to cook. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Remember who had to
I think
put him
Grant
in the
was kind of
ground and
on
then.
board with it though, if I remember. I don't remember for sure, but
Dude,
all
Isaiah
right.
only plays the ladder, so he has like.
Isaiah Williams, not Isaiah Bradner for those
Yeah,
listening. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's coming up. Brisbane's coming up this weekend. Got our predictions in